Ladies and gentlemen, the goose is loose. How about a little last epoch, anybody? Let's see if it is going to detect ourselves. There we go. A bit of last epoch. Everything's working. Right. So, this is where we left off a few days ago. I couldn't stream Monday because I was away for work. And I was going to do a little makeup stream maybe Tuesday, but I fell asleep because Monday was a long day and I am an old man. So this is our Forge Guard, pretty much as we left him. Before we get going, Trainer, big thank you for the follow, my friend. Sounds like a very suspiciously familiar name to me, I'm not sure why, but I recognise it from somewhere. Good to have you on board, buddy, and I think that takes us neatly to halfway to our 50 follower goal before we can start looking for affiliate status. So always good to actually have people in the chat. Good to see you on board, buddy. Hopefully I'm coming through loud and clear and you can hear me. I did my audio tests. I have managed one stream where I did the whole thing with no sound until someone pointed it out right at the end, but we seem to be doing good. Excellent. So the last time we played this character, we were in the Reign of Dragons monolith, the end game content, and we were trying to finish this monolith. We were going to have to beat the zombie dragon, which in our pre-launch streaming, we bashed our face against him 1,000 times. You'll notice down here, I have a blessing, which means I beat the bugger. And I didn't mean to. The idea was we were going to beat him on stream, and I was going to tune up and what have you, but I played a couple of days ago and I got bored and I thought I'll have one go at the dragon, and I went in and the dragon just one-shot me. Didn't even get to do a point of damage to him, he just instantly killed me, and that annoyed me, so I went back in to see if I could do some damage to him, and on the second attempt just beat him. Absolutely beat him. The Forge Guard is starting to tick, so I tweaked a few things. We've got our resists here, which are pretty much capped across the board. My cold resist isn't perfect. My physical resist, as soon as I get hit, will go over cap. It will hit 106% the moment something hits me because of my passive tree. We've got very good armour. We've got a little bit of endurance and endurance threshold, some of the things we've been talking about on stream, but we're doing pretty good damage. So our main attack does 6,500 damage, and we are at level 76. So we beat the dragon 2 levels earlier than when we tried him last time with the previous character, and 2 levels earlier we got, 2 levels later at 78 we got annihilated. So this time we did him 2 levels earlier and it was easier. So I wish we'd got that on stream. I just wanted one go to see what would happen, and it turns out that I bossed it. We're not going to play Forge Guard tonight because mistakes were made. I was playing the other day, and I just got to the point where I had a whole inventory full of items, and I couldn't quite work out where I was going with the itemization of my build. Right up until I beat the dragon, I'd convinced myself my build really wasn't working the way it had pre 1.0, and I wasn't sure. Yeah, absolutely. So these are all real players in here. So this is a town hub. So everybody here who looks like they've got funkier gear than I do are other players, and I can interact with them. I can click on them, send them a message, invite them to play with me, or block them if I think they are particularly offensive. The two things behind me are my two pets. So I can have up to 2 different pets. I can have a little portal animation, and I have got some lovely armor skins, but I'm not putting these on until I feel I've earned them. So I've got various skins for various things. Speaking of these skins, this cloak, these 2 cloaks, the Merchant's Mantle and the Mantle of the Prophesier, as well as this pet, the Blue Seer's Orb, and this pet, the Green Diaguana. Hey Jellyfish, good to see you, buddy. God, we've got busy chat now. I'm going to do a smiley face in chat, because that way I think it counts as 3 of us chatting at the same time. And if I can get 5 people chatting at the same time, then we get ourselves some advancements towards community, and I can give some of you guys VIP status and stuff. So this Diaguana, this Blue Seer's Orb, and those 2 capes are Twitch drops. So if you watch a drop-enabled streamer, which might be me tonight, you could earn these in game. You watch for an hour, and I believe they were on a few days ago, and they're starting again today. So today, I think if you watch, you will be able to get this cape here. I think this one, I think it might be the first one, might be the Mantle of the Prophesier, which is my favourite. It's the one I'm wearing now. Last time the drops were live, people got drops from my channel. I think it might be that anyone streaming Last Epoch has drops enabled. You don't have to apply for them. So I am a pro streamer now. I have given away drops on this channel. So watch for a bit. Let me know if you're getting Last Epoch drops. So we were going to play Forge Guard, but like I say, mistakes were made. So 2 nights ago, bearing in mind I didn't play last night, because last night was roleplay night, and my head still feels it. I may have had a beer or 2 too many. A couple of nights ago, I made a new character. I made the new character because I just wanted to try something. I'd been messing around in a planner. I'd come up with this idea for a Beastmaster, so a primalist that uses wolves and can have a whole range of pets. But free virtual items are always the best. And this purple cape is badass. I will explain the cape and the faction it goes with in a minute for anyone who didn't watch the last stream. So I made this Beastmaster and I tested it, and it was super fun. I was enjoying it even more than this build. So I've played it for a little bit. Cardjack's in the house. Now, I think we've now got 4 people chatting all at once. We only need 1 more, and we find ourselves in the position where we can start to get drops in. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. It's great. It's a room full of all my buddies. So yeah, like I say, mistakes were made. I love this Forge Guard. I planned him from 3 weeks before launch. He was going to be my first to 100. He was going to be the character we did. And then I did this little experiment. And the little experiment was we made a Beastmaster. No worries, buddy. It's just good to have you on board. So the Beastmaster I've played for a couple of days. He's already level 55. And this is not because I play too much and because I am addicted, though both those things are true. It's because this guy kills things so fast that the XP you earn is just ridiculous. So we just saw our Forge Guard is level 76, and at 76 with loads of itemization, I've been crafting, I've been doing all sorts of stuff, he's just about pulling 6 and a bit thousand DPS with his main attack. At level 55, my Beastmaster is already pulling nearly 5k DPS, and I've done no crafting. His gear is garbage. I've got a couple of purples I've just put in here. I'm not sure if they're going to work. I've lost a lot of attack speed. Attack speed works with this build. So this current setup is not good. And the reason it's not good is it does a ton of damage. It bounces around the map. It moves quicker than the Forge Guard. It has better movement than the Forge Guard in terms of its traversal abilities and stuff. And it does more damage. The problem is it is currently a complete glass cannon. Because I've not got enough good gear for him. My resists are all over the place. So cold and lightning are okay. Cold is overcapped. Lightning is close to the 75% cap. Everything else is middling. I have at least managed to pull a bit of physical. Poison, not so great. Necrotic and Void, absolute garbage. So while I can smash bosses with this character and destroy Pact, I'm going to show it to you in a minute. It's amazing fun to play. I can kill things quicker than I can on any other character I've ever made. But in the campaign, which is easy mode, I can still occasionally get one-shot by random critters. I have stepped up my armour a little bit, and the good thing is I'm nearly capped on endurance. So I've been playing around with survivability, and that's what I've been focused on. I have compromised my DPS to get more survivability. This number here could be over 5k, maybe 5.5k if I was using some of the other gear that I've got. So I'm just going to show you how this guy works, because I was blown away by how much fun this was. So I've not really done any monolith. So I'm going to talk about briefly what the monolith is. So this is the end game system. And I came in here with this build at level 33. The first of these monoliths is level 58, as you'll see down here. So I was, 25 levels under. And I did die in my first echo, my first little mini-map. In the end, I got completely one-shot by something because I was fragile and I was 25 levels under. But I was having no problem killing stuff in this monolith. We are a little bit better now. So the way the monolith works, I'm just going to teleport myself there. Each one has a whole number of random echoes. They have random rewards, and by completing them, you build up stability. Yeah, this build is completely homebrewed. I decided, I said this on stream before 1.0 launched, I will not follow anyone else's build guides for Last Epoch. I do it for other action RPGs. I always do it for Path of Exile because it's too complicated for me. I find it's the easiest way to get a good build in Diablo 4. I have followed a lot of other people's guides in Grim Dawn. This game, I think, is more fun if you do your own builds. So for those of you who haven't seen this game before, and I know Trainer, you haven't, the reason I love this game is, like every other action RPG, you've got a passive tree. So I'm a primalist, this is my passive tree. They're all very easily digestible. They're each a node, they tell you what they do. The explanations in this game are better than any other ARPG. And if I hover over something that I don't understand, like this one, so it says you have increased health every 3 seconds, your next hit restores health. If I hold Alt, it will tell me extra information. So this effect can only proc if you're not on full health already, and your hits don't include things like damage over time or things that your minions do. So it has to be you hitting things and not ticks from your damage over time. So they're all really easy to digest, even when you add in the fact that you have 3 mastery trees and you can specialise in one that lets you put points right up to the end. So I've built this myself using an online building tool and just played around with it. And even though I've chosen to be a Beastmaster, I can still put points in Druid, and I've got 7 in Druid at the moment, and I can still put points in Shaman, and I'm going to. But because I specialise as a Beastmaster, I can only put points in Shaman and Druid up to this chain, up to the first half of the grid. So you can make some really custom builds, but they're actually quite easy to understand. The way the game gets even better, and I'm going to show you this now, is the skills. Each skill, I've got 5 skills on my bar, and each of these skills I can specialise in, and it will give me its own skill tree. These are also really easy to understand and digest, but they change the way the skill plays. So I'm going to show you the one skill that I did not expect when I made this build that has turned it into the build I love more than anything, and that is Fury Leap. So Fury Leap, you jump across the map, where you land, you do a big explosion, sort of barbarian style, and it kills things. I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool. I can move really fast, I can jump across the map, I can kill things. Fine, I'll use that skill. There's a couple of things that make this even better. One of which is that it does actually quite a lot of damage. The second one is you can jump over chasms and gaps. So it's a really good traversal skill. It's way better than the one that I had on my Sentinel, on my Forge Guard, because it doesn't stop when you hit a wall or get interrupted. You leap straight over any obstacles. But the third thing is when I put points in the skill, and I planned this out on a skill tree, I went for here. This node down here says when you land you cast Upheaval. So I have the skill Upheaval that I've also specialised in, which puts a big fissure flying out from your character, and I've changed this skill so that it does more damage. Instead of firing one line, it fires 3 fault lines, and I've then further specialised it so that actually it fires 5 fault lines all around me, and I could add another 2. I was running with another 2, and I can add more damage. This is a main skill. This is a skill I could have on my bar, and I do, but I don't use it. I just proc it using this movement skill. So let's go and do an echo, and I'll show you how it works, because it is obscene. So I'm going to do a gold echo. I need more gold. I've run out of gold. So yeah, when it comes to Last Epoch, I'm only doing my own builds, because I haven't made one yet that if it went wrong, that I couldn't fix, and wasn't good enough to be competitive. So I'm enjoying them. Right, first things first, I can summon a wolf. So Summon Wolf summons a wolf that follows you and does damage with you. I have specialised this skill to give me quite a few more wolves, and I'm wearing an item that lets me summon wolves up to my maximum number of companions. So the whole build centres around using a wolf. I use 5 wolves. So my wolves do a ton of damage. And if I hit with this skill, if I hit an enemy with this skill, which is free to cast, there's a 35% chance or 45% chance that each wolf will spew out a spirit wolf, which does a load of damage. So let's find some enemies and see what happens when I leap. Basically, I point at a part of the screen, and wherever I land, everything there dies. I'm tempted to go back to the specialisation that had the 2 extra fault lines, because it kills even more stuff in an even wider area, but it does add a significant mana cost, and you can use this so frequently that it drains mana like mad. So, this is quite a good speed farming build. I'm not really doing it in a speed farmy way at the moment. We feel quite slow. We've still got our 24% movement speed. Not sure that the servers aren't just a little bit floaty, because there's just been a patch. I was about 5 minutes late going live because I was waiting for Steam to download and install my patch. So it may be that there's a lot of people online. When the patch went live, I think there were 180,000 concurrent players, so it's pretty popular right now. And man, these things I absolutely hate, these snake dudes. And this just makes a mockery of them. So here we go, right. There is a rune prison here. The rune prison contains an exiled mage, which is a really nasty bad guy. Really hard to kill, but drops very special items. Let's see how hard he is to kill when we hit all our skills. Oh god, okay, he wasn't even worth standing around for. Bearing in mind, I'm still 3 levels under the level cap, under the level of the enemies in this area. Right, what am I actually supposed to be doing? So my objective is on the right there. Slay enemies to locate the storm cage, and then slay the storm cage. So we have nothing on the map yet, which means we have not yet identified the location of the storm cage. Oh, yeah, there is no storm cage, that's why it was an ambush. So just like that, we've completed this very quick little echo. So if we jump back, we claim our prize, which in this case was gold. We needed gold. Then we get a little treasure chest. There's lots of items dropped on the floor there. Those are the items it dropped. But I've got those all filtered out in my loot filter because they're not items I'm interested in. So the wolves do a shed load of damage. So there's a couple of things I like about the wolves, and I'll show you the wolf skill tree quickly. The jumpy thing's got a 5-second cooldown. So without the wolves, I'd jump into a fight and then I would be killed before it was off cooldown again. And it also costs a huge amount of mana because I've got avalanche attached to it. So I can only use it every 5 seconds, and it costs probably a third of my mana. So the wolves are there for damage in between. However, there is a legendary item in the game that lets me turn my wolves into twice as many squirrels. So that would be 10 squirrels, each shooting out these little soul blast things, at which point it will become my main damage. However, I've specced into wolves on a couple of things. So the wolves themselves can do this skill, Howl. Every 9.2 seconds, the wolves howl, giving them and me, and any other people playing with me, 25% more damage and 25% more attack speed. And so frenzy, and movement speed and attack speed. That's really useful. I've specced the wolves so that the howl, where is it? Up here. Howl will give me better melee damage, amongst other things. But I've also specced it so when I kill an enemy, there's a 2% chance the wolves howl automatically without me pressing the button, doesn't put it on cooldown, doesn't use the skill, doesn't spend any mana. There's now a 20% chance that if the wolves kill anything, they will automatically howl without spending the mana or putting it on cooldown. The wolves howl now gives me 3 seconds of haste, making me faster, do more damage, and there's now a chance that when the wolves hit a boss, they howl automatically. So they're passively buffing me all the time, as well as doing a really good chunk of damage. Yeah, absolutely. So the only thing you cannot respec is you cannot respec your mastery choice. So I will always have the Beastmaster tree open to the top. On this character, I can't change these two trees. I can never get beyond the chain in the middle. That's a permanent choice. Everything else, completely respecable. You can respec any of these points with gold, which is easy to earn, and I've respecced a lot. So the way I'm doing these builds, I made an online build. I've been playing it, seeing how I like it. I've already ditched a few of the skills. I was using this, Summon Frenzy Totem. When you put a totem down, it gives you more attack speed. And you can buff the totem up by giving it its own skill tree. I didn't like it because it was really clunky. It's got a cast time. So in the middle of a fight, if you press the button to cast Frenzy Totem, you can't do anything for a good second and a half. If you do, it cancels the Frenzy Totem. And if you don't, you're getting wailed on the whole time. I just found it didn't work with my flowing build. So I got rid of it and I put in Warcry instead, which I'm still experimenting with. It's brand new to me. So yeah, you can change your skills. You can change which skills are specialised. In here, for example, in Warcry, if I want to respec, I can do one of two things. I can remove skill points, and it won't refund those points to me. It will. So my minimum specialised level up here is 7. So I could take points off this, and it would take it from 15 down to 7. I wouldn't get any points back, but it would level up twice as fast until I got back to 15 where it was. Or I could remove it completely. I could despecialise and specialise in a totally new skill. So I have been and will do as we go on. I will be tweaking these nodes all the time. Originally I had 2 points in here which gave me the extra 2 fault lines, which was really cool, but it cost me 8 mana more and I found I was running out of mana. Now we've leveled up a bit and we've got a bit more mana, I am going to be going back to these 2 points because they do make for more damage in a greater area. So you can respec any of these, you can respec any of your passive points. The only thing you can't do is if I wanted to be a shaman, if I decided I really wanted to be a shaman and I wanted to get up to this sort of end of the shaman tree, I would have to make a new primalist and choose to be a shaman when I get to choose my mastery. But given that I've only played this thing for 2 days, I'm most of the way through the campaign and I'm level 55 already, it's not a big deal to get back up here. So there's a few things we want to do tonight, and one of them is we want to do some work on our Circle of Fortune. So there are two factions in the game. This is how you get items. There are two factions you can go for. One is a trade faction, the Merchants Guild. If you join the Merchants Guild, you can level up with them, and it will allow you to sell items that you find while playing and buy items from other people from the marketplace. Or you can go the solo self-found route, which is where you pick up the items, you find them, but you can't trade them. So for people who aren't interested in buying stuff that other people have found, and that's sort of more my playstyle. I play these games either solo or with a couple of mates, and I like to pick up my own drops. I like the little dopamine hit you get when something cool and shiny drops on the ground for you, and you pick it up and equip it and craft it and make it your own, rather than just going to the marketplace and saying, oh look, I've got 200 million gold, I'll just buy all the bits of gear that I need that somebody else found for me. Now, Circle of Fortune, I am currently rank 5. These ranks get much harder to earn as you go up, and you earn them mainly by spending favour, which is that Circle of Fortune currency. You also earn a tiny bit by grinding and killing monsters. I earned the whole of level 4 to 5 on this character by killing monsters, because I haven't got far enough into the campaign with this character to spend any of my favour. Once you've already completed the campaign once and you've chosen which faction you want to be in, alternate characters like this one can choose the faction and in the first starting area. You can't do that until you finish the campaign at least once, but I have done. So I chose Circle of Fortune, which means that both my characters are now earning me this favour when I play them. And I'll show you what we spend that favour on. But I've just got to level 5, so level 5 means that I have a 35% chance when I do one of those monolith echoes that we just did, that I get double rewards. So we just picked up some gold, and we got quite a lot of it. We might have got double rewards. I wasn't really paying attention. So I want to level up this Circle of Fortune. So what I want to do, my next level of Circle of Fortune, I need 148,000 reputation. My last one was about 50,000, so it goes up hugely. But this is really important. This one gives me a chance to that my unique items have twice as much legendary potential. That's the potential to craft them into a legendary item. And we'll cover that either at a later date if people are interested, or my previous streams go through it a little bit. This favour spends at a better than 1-to-1 rate. So if I spend 12,500 favour that I've earned, I will make probably about 15 to 16,000 of my rep. It will knock a good chunk of this rep off, and I'll still be earning more. I spend that favour buying prophecies. Now I've got a load of prophecies on my other character, and we'll have a look at them very quickly now, because I can't unlock prophecies on this character yet, because I haven't got far enough to get to the faction hub. But if we look at the other character that I've got, they have... Now I'm interested actually to see if they share the earned... They don't share prophecies, obviously, but maybe they share the earned favour. I think they do. And I think that's why it's sort of beneficial if you're levelling up one of the two factions to do it on all your characters. If I finish levelling that faction up to level 10, I can start a new character and go with the other faction, the Merchants faction, and level that up to level 10 on another character and keep my progress. So on this character, yeah, the favour stays, the level stays, back to level 5, but on this character we've got prophecies. So you buy them with favour, you go look down a telescope and you go look at constellations, you choose some stars with these bits of favour in them, and these prophecies have an event you have to do, a condition to that event, and then a reward that you get. So this one is, I have to kill a rare enemy, it has to be inside the Temporal Sanctum dungeon, and if I kill a rare enemy in that dungeon, I will get 2 relics that are part of a set. This one, if I kill 5 siege golems anywhere, there's no condition on this one, I'll get 8 rare bone amulets, and if I kill... I've done the other siege golem one, haven't I? Yeah. This one is, if I kill the Emperor of Corpses, the evil zombie dragon at the end of Reign of Dragons, I gain 10 rare rings. You can see this one says fulfilled 1 out of 2 times, because I killed him once. I got the bastard. That has to be in the Reign of Dragons timeline, because that's the only place he appears. So I could do it again and get another 10 rare rings. So I can use this to target farm the items I like whilst doing the content I like, increasing my drop rate essentially. So if I don't want to trade with other players, the game lets me put a buff on my own drop rate, so I'm more likely to find the cool items, the good gear, but I won't be able to trade that. That's my choice. I can sort of do it one of two ways. So what we really need to do is we need to push the campaign to the point where we can get our Circle of Fortune and spend some of our favour. That sounds pretty easy. The only thing really standing in our way is Lagon. And Lagon is by far the hardest campaign boss. Arguably one of the harder bosses in the game, full stop, depending on where you encounter him. I have no doubt we have the damage to kill Lagon. I have quite a lot of doubts that we have the survivability, because Lagon has an awful lot of abilities that one-hit you, and some of his abilities that don't one-hit you are likely to one-hit me at the moment because I am very, very weak. So this is the map. It's split into a number of different zones, but also a number of different time periods. So in the ancient era, it's always the same map, but there are different locations that I can go to in the ancient era. Not very many of them, because look, there's hardly any civilizations. In the divine era, there are established cities and colonies, far more places that I can go to and things that I can do. In the imperial era, the immortal emperor has taken over, the world is corrupted and full of undead. It's some of the same locations, but very, very different when you go there. And in the ruined era, most of it has been destroyed, and there's very little left, and it's all void horrors and death. And at the end of time, that's where the end game stuff is, in the monoliths. So we're going to the Divine Era, we are going to the Isle of Storms, and we are going to the Temple of Lagon. We run through the temple, we kill everything, we get to the end, we kill his little handmaiden, then we get to fight Lagon, and that is Lagon. He's a god. He's a giant Cthulhu tentacle-faced god with claws and awful tentacles, and he is a pain in the backside. He's definitely mechanically the hardest boss in the game. Ooh, better summon our wolves. You've really got to pay attention, you've got to get your timing right, you've got to get your positioning right. A lot of the other bosses, you can sort of face tank. If you've got enough damage and enough survivability, you can ignore some of their mechanics and just stand and punch them. You can't do that with Lagon, he will kill you. Which is fun. I like fighting, I love fighting him. But one tiny mistake in a fight that might take 10 or 15 minutes, and you're gone. So, or Lagon, depending on how you look at it. So we're going to give him a go. So we're going to go through his temple, crush various things. We really don't need to be killing all this stuff, but it's nice to just warm up the old fingers before you fight a god. Yeah, I do love jumping in things and watching them all pop. Right. I need to pay attention to this. I always take the wrong exit inside this bit of Lagon's temple. You have to go further down and further across than you think you do in order to get to the next area. Yeah, that jumpy thing's pretty cool. So we're going to go fight him. If we beat him, then there's only one boss left in the campaign, and I may or may not finish the campaign. I finished it on my other characters. The only real reason for finishing it after you have unlocked your various idle slots and extra skill points and stuff, all of which I have now unlocked, and unlocked your faction, is if you finish the campaign, you get +1 to all your attributes, which is not a lot, but also it's something. You know, for the sake of earning a bit of XP killing things, I will quite happily get an extra point of strength. I'm never going to turn down 6 HP from vitality, or a bit of armour from strength, or a bit of damage. Every little adds up, and when you get into the end game, it becomes more and more important that you have survivability and damage, and anywhere you can get that from is a bonus. I think I've done that mistake and gone back to the beginning again. Yes, I have. I always do this. Every time I do this. Yep, you have to go even further out to the side. See, this comes back to the fact that I can talk and play. I cannot talk and play very well and focus on what I'm doing, which is the other reason why Lagon is much harder on stream. First of all, if you're going to fail, you're going to do it on stream because it's funnier, and secondly, concentrating on Lagon and not saying rude words and all the other things that come with trying to concentrate and have a, I'm not going to say family-friendly stream, but a polite stream for normal, well-adjusted human beings is made more challenging. Where do you think you're going? Here we go, we found it. Every time I go through here I go, of course it's this way, and every time I go the wrong way. Without fail. Don't think I've ever done it correctly. Right, Temple Depths. So we fight our way through some creatures. We get to Lagon's aid, Liath. She's a big lightning lady. She's not a big lightning lady, but she's an annoying lightning lady. We kill her because she deserves it and gives us no choice. And then hopefully we kill her boss as well. The ability of that skill just to jump the entire length of the map, as well as doing a lot of damage on landing and all the rest of it, is just really useful. It just saves you walking around obstacles and things that slow you down in general. So it's just so powerful as a traversal skill and a way to kill things. And of course the way I've got it spec'd means it kills way better. And that's just the way this game works. It's the fact that I could have that skill be cheap. I wouldn't have to specialise in it. I could specialise in some other skills. I could have it cheap and just use it to move around. I've chosen to use it as one of my major damage sources because I think it looks cool. And the game is balanced well enough that although a lot of content is very difficult, I don't feel that I can't use the cool idea and the cool build I found because it just isn't competitive. Now I'm not doing top tier empowered monoliths at level 100 yet, but you sort of feel like you can always fix the puzzle, you can always solve the challenge of gear and survivability and damage with a bit of work and turn your build into something decent. Right, so Sanctum of the Architect. The Ath being the architect. Yes, I loved Baldur's Gate 3, although as with pretty much all games I've played, I need to play more of it, because I started playing some other shiny thing and I didn't finish it. But yes, I really enjoyed Baldur's Gate 3. I thought it was a good and true successor to the series. And about as close to our Wednesday nights as one can get in a computer game. Right, level 56, that's not going to hurt, because we can take an extra point in attunement and strength, tiny bit more damage, tiny bit more wolf damage. Right, let's go talk to Liath, she's dead friendly. Hello Liath. Again and again you persist. Don't you realise I'm keeping you away from Lagon for a reason? Yeah, because you're a big jerk. Yeah, she thinks she's the only one who knows how to handle his rages. She must liaise with him. Nope, I want to speak to him. Apparently my death will be quick. Let's find out how quick. Right, where's she gone now? Down here somewhere, okay. Now, I've got to watch her because I'm still absolutely spongy as anything. Like, damage-wise, I can deal with her. But what I can't deal with is... No, that's not her. She's over here. That's quite useful. Get over there quick. Which way does she go? That way. I can definitely damage her. It's whether or not she can damage me better first. I've got quite a lot of a lot of health leech on this, so if I do damage to her, I get a lot of health back, which is amazing. But I have to be doing damage to her for that to work. So if I'm busy healing or doing something else, although to be fair, she is balls now. Bye bye. Right, that wasn't too bad.
I was trying to protect everyone.
I think I did about the same. I think I did about the first chapter. Yeah, I'm not sure about storytelling skill, the ability to run my mouth and talk bollocks, perhaps. But I appreciate the compliment, thank you, my friend. It's the kind of thing that I would quite enjoy playing. The problem I find with things like Baldur's Gate is I get decision paralysis. Like in a game like this, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go and fight something, and it's either going to die or it's not, and then we're going to make the build a bit more powerful, hope we find some cool gear, and keep doing it while we chat about stuff. I think in Baldur's Gate I would sit going, do we do this? Do we do that? And I could let chat decide, but then I might be grumpy all night if chat decide a way that I don't like, and I don't know. It'd be fun. We should try streaming it. We'll see how it goes. It might force me through my decision paralysis and make me just play the game. Okay, so this is what Lagon is like. Yeah, I suppose watching me paralysed by decisions is perhaps one of the most fun things you can do. Right, don't let him hit you with his eye beam. That is golden rule number 1 of Lagon. My god, Lagon's eye beam does damage. Yeah, there it is. Don't get me. That's a one-shot kill. If that hits you, you're dead. You're dead. Some other builds, you can survive that. Not this build. This build does not have enough survivability yet to survive that at all. Ah! Luckily, my jump ability jumps over the beam, whereas the dash on my other character doesn't. It runs through it and gets me killed. So that's quite nice. But there's a 5-second cooldown on the thing here, so if I'm not careful, there's the eye beam. I can take one of the mini eye beams like that, that's fine. What I can't take is him stunning me, followed by that eye beam. Oh, hey, we're into phase 2 of the fight. That's probably the most difficult thing done, as long as we don't mess up in, well, in stage 2, although stage 2 is easier. But as long as, oh, he says that, I'm getting hammered. Right, give me the tentacles. I have to kill the tentacles down here. As long as I can dodge most of the waves. I can take a hit from waves, I just don't want to take lots of them. Come on, tentacles. There we go. So in a minute we will transition back into the rest of that fight, and it will be exactly the same. We will fight Lagon, but he will probably be faster and nastier. Here we go, we're going back. Right. He's doing the eye thing.
Is that the best you can do?
Uh-oh. Howl, 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 you buggers. Oh no, oh no. That's it. Oh my god. I went down to 1 HP. That was ridiculous. So that's what happens when the eye beam gets you. We survived at 1 HP just. No. That's okay. I think that one is going to die out before it gets to us. Whoop. Come on. Come on, hit, 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 hit. Keep stunning me. No, don't get hit. Kill it. There we go. Yes! Lagon first time. No wipe. This build is okay. It needs more survivability, but my god does it chew through stuff. Hello, Mr. Wiggly Eyes. Have I amused you? Right, for those of you who saw me beat Lagon on stream the first time, I am not doing the voice. I did the whole thing in the voice that time, but my HP regenerated that fast because I hit a potion. So I've got 3 potions down here that heal me for a decent chunk of my health. And I survived with just enough to hit 1 potion, which took me to about 75%. And then if I keep swinging the weapons, I leech that hit point back really quickly. I've got this thing set up to leech HP on hit, but you've got to be hitting for that to work. But yeah, I did this. I did it with the voice, and I had my shoulders, and I did the voice of Lagon. But by the end of it, I completely lost my voice. So I'm not going to spoil the story. You can enjoy it for yourselves, because, you know, Last Epoch is a great game. I recommend everybody tries it. And yeah, I wonder about that, Carjack. I always equate it to I think it's because the I-beam has width, and you can be hit by it as long as it is just a glancing blow. If you're in the I-beam for more than half a second, it all adds up. I think it's like being shot in the arm in Hunt. Sometimes the beam will scrape you, and you'll just about get away with it. Now, one of the things that I made sure is Lagon does cold damage, and I made sure that I am overcapped on my cold resist, because I knew that that might just get me through an I-beam hit. But I've been on my Forge Guard, who probably got clipped for more like two ticks of it and just doomph. But it's a little bit, not much, but a little bit easier on this, because you can jump over the beam instead of running through it like the Forge Guard does. I just love this build. I think it's brilliant. I don't think we get a cutscene here, but that's the hardest boss in the game done. In the campaign, there are much harder bosses in the end game monoliths. But what we're going to do is we can hand that in, and then we can do a little bit of the stuff that we need to do to progress until we get to our Circle of Fortune. Then we can buy a load of monolith prophecies and grind some monolith with this guy, and try and find some better gear, because we are starved for good gear at the moment. But I haven't yet decided if this is going to be my new main. So it's 20 levels lower than my Forge Guard, but I really like the potential of it. I think we could do some good things. I think part of the survivability that it needs, the Forge Guard has the potential for the Beastmaster is to get more health. They've got lots of sources in their passive tree to get health, but they've got nowhere near as many sources of armor, resists, or I suppose they have got some good endurance sources. So the way endurance works, if I hover over here, you have an endurance threshold and an endurance percentage. The endurance threshold is the trigger for when you go into reinforced mode, essentially. You go into low damage mode. And at that point, if my health on this build at the moment is below 238, so if I'm 237 or below, 52% of all incoming damage is negated. And endurance caps at 60. So if I can get that endurance threshold really high, and that endurance capped at 60%, most of the time, once I get below sort of a third of my health, I'm only going to be taking 40% of the damage. And that's before it gets blocked by my resists, before it gets blocked by my armor, which stops physical and non-physical damage. So layering those defenses on top of each other, as well as having really high HP and good HP regen, gives you that sort of survivability package. There are low life builds in the game where you deliberately, and there are items that let you do this, drain almost all your health until you're constantly sitting in the endurance area, and you use the lack of life to build up a shield called ward. So there's many ways to do good defences, but in my case the first thing is usually cap all your resistances, then it's make sure your endurance is capped, then it's make sure your armour is good as well, then make sure your HP is good, and we've not started doing that really on our Forge Guard either. The resistance is good in our Forge Guard, nothing else is. I mean, the endurance on him is rubbish. I think it's like 30 odd percent, it's 53 on here, so there are aspects of this that we're better at. It's helped because there is a passive in this tree that gives me 2% endurance per point, as well as some armour. So I am going to max this out, and I'll end up with 14% endurance, just flat reduction, which means I don't have to find as much endurance from gear. I can spend my gear on decent offensive perks. Speaking of gear, let's transfer our crafting materials. Let's have a look at what we've got. These are damage leached as health and minion damage leached as health. If anyone wants to see any more details on this stuff, then do just shout out. But as it is, I'm just going to scan through them so I'm not looking at stuff forever. That's nice because it is a better armour body piece. Got stun avoidance. Stun avoidance is good, especially on this build. So one of the things that Trainar was talking about was my health going up quickly, and as well as the potion, it goes up very quickly because I've got this node. So 3% of my melee damage is leached as health, and melee damage for me is the leap counts as melee and the swipe counts as melee. So both of my main attacks, 3% of any damage they do, I gain back as health. But even better than that, I've got this node, which gives me a further 9% leached as health. So 12% of all the damage I do for my two main skills, I get back as health. But in order to get that leech back, I need to be hitting things and doing damage. If I get stunned for 2 seconds, that's me done. I've stopped leeching, I've stopped bringing in health, and I don't even think I can hit a potion while I'm stunned. So, bump. In 2 seconds they can just unzip me because my health regen while I'm hitting things is just through the roof, and it gives me sustain. So the squirrel thing I'm not specifically hunting, but if I find one, I'm going to transition this into a squirrel build and focus a bit more on the wolves and try and do squirrels. I am hunting for some uniques. In fact, let's have a quick look. There's a unique I already found, which I'm doing the thing I always do where I look over here where my chat window is. It's no good. It's no good at all. There's one unique. Oh, that's fine, mate. Don't worry. Lurk away. Also, feel free to ask any questions when you come back and I'll answer them again. I'm just happy to sit and chat. So there's a couple of things I'd like, and they are unique axes. I have 2 out of the 3 that I'm going to use, one of which is a level 80 axe, and it's this one. And I cannot wait to be able to use this. This is going to be my offhand, so I'm dual wielding. So I've got this node here, which allows me to equip either an axe or a sword in my offhand. This is another reason why I'm getting hit so badly, is while I'm dual wielding I take 9% more damage. So this character is taking a load more damage anyway, just base. But in the offhand I'm going to use this Undisputed. So it gives plus minion damage and a good melee damage base with a good attack speed and a high chance to bleed. And if I look at the ranges, the minion damage range is 10 to 14, I got a 13. The chance to bleed is 70 to 100, I got an 82, so not too bad. And then it's got plus 40 melee physical damage, and that's flat bonus damage. That's always the biggest way to scale your damage, not percentage. You know, if I had 200% physical damage, it wouldn't be anything like as good as plus 40 flat damage. And that is on a range of 27 to 41. So it's nearly a god roll on the melee physical. Also comes with good attack speed. It's only 23 out of a potential 27, but that much attack speed is going to make this one of the fastest attacking base weapons in the game, doing one of the fastest amounts of base damage. And 12% of my overkill damage is leached as health. I also do 5% increased physical damage for each recent hit against a bleeding enemy. So I'm going to use 2 axes, both of which will give me an increased chance to bleed, so that on my second hit it will always be against a bleeding enemy, and every 4 seconds I can stack those up to 255% bonus physical damage. So that's going to be my first axe. My second one is a unique for primalists that when I've killed something recently, my pets take less damage. When they've killed something recently, I take less damage. But I haven't found one of those yet, so until I do, I'm probably going to use this, which is also a primalist weapon. It's not a primalist weapon, but it's got primalist bonuses. Gives +1 to all my melee attacks. So my swipe skill, my jumpy skill, all of those are melee skills, as is the upheaval. So I'll get +1 skill point to each of those. I will get +14 flat melee fire damage for me and my minions, so great bonus damage. 123% increased melee damage, which is actually out of a potential 200%. That's a garbage roll, but it's still a good chunk of damage. And some fire penetration. This one, the bonus is when one of my companions is downed, so your pets don't get killed like in a necromancer build, they just get knocked out and you have to stand next to them for a few seconds to get them back on their feet. This one, when a companion's downed, it automatically revives after 2 seconds. I don't have to go and stand on it. And when it's revived by the axe instead of me, it releases a burst of fire and gains 100 melee fire damage and ignite chance for 20 seconds. So I almost want to let my minions die and then let them explode back in fieriness. So I'll probably use those 2 axes until I find the one that gives me the damage reduction. Other than that, I've got 2 out of 3 for this set, which isn't great. I've been using the gloves and I've been using the helmet, and neither of them now is best in slot for me, even compared to what I've got on. But if I get the chest piece as well, the 3-piece bonus is +30 strength, and strength scales my damage and my armor. So I will probably use that set if I can get the chest piece. So the uniques are all random drops. You can craft uniques. I could take, for example, this axe. Let's just do this. This is a crafting window. I could take this axe, put it in here, and I believe it is a rune of... No, go... Ah, man, these tooltips are really annoying because I'm sure it's a bug where they just stick around. Right. Rune of Ascendance. Here we go. So it will change the item into either a unique or a set item of the same type. So I've found 9 of these so far since I started playing 1.0, and I could pop that in there and try and turn that into either a set or unique axe with random rolls on it. And if I get a few more of these Runes of Ascendance and I haven't found that axe by the time I'm ready to sort of roll, which is about level 63, I think I can start using the other axe that I don't have. I might start using Runes of Ascendance to try and make one. But all the uniques I've got at the moment are just random drops. Most of these dropped for my Forge Guard, because he's the one I've done the most farming on. And you can see on this one, it requires rank 3 in the Circle of Fortune. It's got that purple Circle of Fortune logo, and I have to be rank 3 before I can equip it. So I couldn't sell it on the marketplace because it's untradeable. But if we played together and you were Circle of Fortune but you'd only got to rank 2, you couldn't yet equip the axe. It means that your character has to be aligned with a certain faction in order to use gear that comes from that faction. So with the Merchant's Guild to equip bought items, or with Circle of Fortune to equip cool stuff you got from your bonus drops. Right, I am going to take a 2-minute bio break and grab a glass of water. Oh, hello. The fruit trader is talking to me. How fruity of him. Hello, fruit trader. Yeah, we'll look at all this gear in a minute. So we're going to do that. We're going to push through to the next stage because it's quite a quick and easy dash through these next few quests, I think. And then we'll explore some Circle of Fortune and some Monolith. And we've hit 56. We're starting to just get up there a little bit. I need to think about... We've got another point in upheaval. So this damage is maxed. I could max damage to closer targets. I could increase the range. In my original build, so this comes back to Traynar's point about respecking. In my original build, I had this node. I had 2 points in it, which is when you use upheaval and you hit at least one enemy, you get a stack of earth armor for 6 seconds. And each stack gives you armor and endurance. And I thought, that's good, I'll jump in, I'll hit things, I'll get stronger. But then I realised I'm not casting upheaval directly. Upheaval has no cooldown time, it just costs mana, so I could sit and hold the button and spam it. And then I would get loads of stacks of armour. I'm only using it once every 5 seconds when I use Fury Leap, and those stacks only last for 6 seconds, so I'm never going to go above 1 stack. So what I decided to do instead is take the point back out of there. Now this one increases the area, but this one increases the range. And I like that because the spikes that come out, especially if I have the extra 2 fault lines, will do quite a chunk of damage. I'm also speccing into Crater, which gives more area and less mana cost to Fury Leap itself, which offsets this. So let's just put some of these fault lines back in and see how bad the mana hit is at the moment. Because if we can get both those fault lines and then extend their range, we're going to start poking creatures way off screen. But I'm getting excited, I'm getting carried away. I'm going for a quick bio break. We're nearly at 1000 HP. That's a completely irrelevant milestone, but I always get excited when my characters get over 1000 HP. I will be back in a couple of minutes, and then we will see what we can do in terms of crushing the desert. Right, catch you guys in 2. that one's pretty good. The second one on that playlist is a bit dubious, but I really like the first one and have sort of adopted it as my unofficial soundtrack. Right, let's have a quick scan of gear and see where we're up to. We're going to do something a little bit interesting this evening, if we get the chance. So if people are still hanging around at the end of the stream, if we've got the 3 or 4 of us that we've got now, what are we on? I'm going to stream for another hour, maybe 90 minutes, not sure. We might try raiding someone. Never done it. And it always seems a bit pointless raiding if it's me or me and one other person, but if we've got 3 or 4 of us, we can totally do a raid. So we might just try that. It would be ace. Yay! I'm glad you're still here, mate. How you doing? Frankly, even if you're all just lurking AFK, it doesn't matter. I can still raid as long as I've got 4 people in the channel. So, as long as people's devices are still on, we're all good. Hey, Faye! Great to see you. How's it doing? I've been working. I couldn't do the Monday stream because I was away for work. I didn't get back until about 11:15. So I missed the Monday stream, and this is the first Monday catch-up stream I've been able to do. I did one on Saturday as a sort of preemptive, I know I'm going away, but yeah. Oh, nice! 87. I made a small mistake. I got my Forge Guard to 78, and then a couple of nights ago I started a Beastmaster just for fun, and it's now 56 and my new favourite thing ever. So I'm not entirely sure whether this is not my new main. I'm still experimenting with this. I might be sort of dropping myself down 20 levels and starting again, but it's good fun. I'm really interested to hear how the Spellblade is now, because it was pre-launch. It was, you know, a couple of years ago. It was my very, very favourite class, but I haven't played it in about 2 years. What am I doing? I'm putting these away. Right, let's do a quick scan of this. Don't think we've got anything mega. I definitely want to keep that. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to play a meta build in this game because, as I was saying earlier on stream, I can't see me ever following a build guide. I think it's so much more fun to make your own in this game. Yeah, I remember that with the Spellblade. It really is a sort of a very balanced build. It's like you're trying to do a little of everything and make it work. I've got that balance totally wrong on this Beastmaster. It absolutely shreds. Although we did just do Lagon on the first go without dying, so I was worried about my survivability. I've worked on it a little bit, and I think it's come up, but I've got enough damage to just walk through anything that doesn't hit me too hard. Right, don't care about that. I do want the shards from that. Oh, apparently I left an axe in there earlier. Okay. Free axe. Nice. Anything else I'm desperate for shards for? I've not got many runes of shattering left, and I'm trying to save a little bit of gold because I'm very close to needing another couple of stash tabs. I am in love with the Circle of Fortune. In the last couple of days I've gone from rank 4 to rank 5 only by levelling this guy through the campaign, because I haven't yet got to. I only just beat Lagon about 10-15 minutes ago, so I haven't got to the observatory yet. That's what we're going to push for tonight. So I've been building up all this favour, and I've spent none of it. I've got 13,000 favour, and I haven't been able to spend any of it. I've not bought any prophecies on this character yet, but we made all of 4 to 5 just from killing mobs. So then we're going to dump all this into prophecies and start making our way towards 6, because I really want the bonus for the uniques having twice as much legendary potential. I just think that's going to be so much fun. Right, ring. It's got a good crit strike multiplier. The other rolls are garbage. Not bothered by any of that. Endurance threshold's nice. Lightning resist, not so key. What's the one we've got? It's plus 19 mana, but I do like the void resist on it and the elemental. Alright, now we're talking. So move speed is something that I really like on this build because it's a speed clear build. With the leaping and the blowing things up and everything else, it clears echoes really, really quickly, but it feels sluggish when you're just foot slogging, waiting for the cooldown on Fury Leap. This would come with armour, cooldown recovery, and even more movement speed. I'd lose some attunement, don't care. We'd lose a pretty big chunk of fizz res, but that's all we'd lose. And actually we'd gain armour overall, because we've got another 64, so we'd be 94 armour. Yeah, that works. I don't think it works for the build in terms of being optimal, but it certainly works for my playstyle. And it's got a good chunk of armour. Cooldown recovery speed I really like. So other prefixes to put on here, I think we'd put strength on, I think. Yeah, we'd put strength on the boots. Ooh, we're about to brick the thing with forging potential though. Still. Oh no, Glyph of Hope saved us one. Glyph of Hope saved us another one, but we are out of levels to craft. We need to forge that more. We need more levels. So what I did there, for anyone who hasn't seen it, these are my two prefixes, these are my two suffixes. I went through this very quickly because I'm just trying to craft stuff and get out there and bash for you guys. I added strength, so I've got a load of shards of strength by picking them up off the ground or by shattering other items that have plus strength on them. Like this. This has +1 to strength. If I put it into here and shatter it with the rune of shattering, there's a chance I'll get some strength shards back. So I spent those levelling it up, and I had a Glyph of Hope in here. When you level one of these up, it costs forging potential. You'll see there's only 3 forging potential left here, and if I was to try and level that again, it would cost between 1 and 24 forging potential. If I use a Glyph of Hope, there's a 25% chance that it will cost no forging potential. There's also a very small chance you get a critical craft, which costs no forging potential, levels that one up, and randomly one of these other, well, one of the 4 up. So it might do this one twice or this one plus another one at a cost of no forging potential. So at the moment I've changed what I've done with these boots. I've added 5 strength to them, which makes them significantly better from an armour and a damage point of view than my current boots. I've already got good armour on them, which we've pulled up a little bit. Movement speed's good, and cooldown recovery speed means I can use my Fury Leap faster. So if we put those on, just have a quick look at our stats. Those are the old boots, 1687 armour. These are 1937, so that is a difference of 3% to my armour. I do hurt for physical res. This had good physical res on it, but look at my movement speed. My movement speed, you know, we lost health as well. My move speed goes to 33% though. Look, I mean, I'm not sluggish at all now. Now we can move. We're going to experiment with it. We'll keep those old boots because they were pretty good, and we might just find that we hurt a bit for losing all that health. Don't care about those, or that, or that. That's got melee cold, not so bothered. Melee damage leached as health is nice. That's just a flat out good pair of gloves. We might keep that for crafting, or we might pull it apart. Mana regen, health, void resist. Not compared to what we've got, but it didn't take up a lot of room, so we'll deal with that. We didn't want that, did we? We didn't want that. Physical damage, not as much. Potions, no. We'll definitely keep the experimental. I'm keeping every one of these. So these have experimental affixes, which are the light purple ones. They are affixes on the gear that do a very specific thing, and they can only be found on these experimental items that you get from the wizards, the exiled mages in the rune prisons. You can't find them as shards in the world. You can't craft that affix. You can. What the hell? Yeah, thanks for that. Okay, my button mapping appears to have gone crazy. My computer is not 100% happy today. Fizz, res, crit strike avoidance. I'm going to keep that one because I actually... Mind you, that one's got better poison res anyway, hasn't it? That's got huge physical res on it though. which we may end up needing with the changes we've just made. 11% endurance. Oh my god. +2 to swipe. We'd lose void resist, we'd lose some elemental resist. That's absolutely epic, because we are already on +1. That'll put us at +3 to swipe. It's max rolled as well. So +2 to swipe out of a range of 2 to 2 and 47% melee damage. Crit strike multiplier is quite useful. Health is bonus health, not percentage health, but that's still okay. The elemental res we want up because we're going to be losing some elemental res. Bang on some crit strike multiplier. Right, so if we put this on now, our damage goes from 4926 to 5271, but more importantly, we gain 2 skill points to go into swipe. So we bang one in there, we bang one in there, so now it leeches more health and does more damage and does damage in a bigger area. So it's at +3, which means technically we're going to get 4 more points in here, which we could do 3, 4 potentially, something like that, dance around there. Not sure. What's this? Bleed chance. Bleed chance could also be useful. I mean, I could just drop all of these. I want to keep this because this is, when you attack with swipe, you have a 45% chance to call forth a spirit wolf from each of my summoned wolves, and the spirit wolf does a chunk of damage. And that's 45% chance of 5 spirit wolves. A wizard most definitely did it. Wizards are for always doing stuff. Attunement, health, move speed. See, I want those shards. I want all the move speed shards in the world. So we'll shatter this item, because although I'm not going to use this item, it's got shards for movement speed, shards for attunement, which determines how much damage my pets do, and it's got health shards, which are... yeah, they're flat health, not percentage, but that's fine. Everything else can pretty much get flogged. Like, I don't pick items up to sell them, and what I have been doing in my Forge Guard is just shattering almost everything I get, which is why I have no gold and no runes of shattering, because you can buy them from the vendors, but they cost 2 grand each time. So every time I shatter one of these items, I gain some shards, but it's costing me 2,000. Sometimes you can go to a vendor and spend 20 grand just on getting these shards. So it isn't... You've got to sort of balance making gold versus spending gold a little bit. Right, let's see what this thing does. Some of you guys have seen it, some of you guys haven't seen it. Hello!
Nor am I a fan of
We're going to go to the crossroads. We're going to survive an ambush. We're going to put Harton's idol somewhere. More importantly, we're going to crush everything. So we should be doing more damage now, more with swipe, in a bigger area. We also added one of the fault lines back onto upheaval. So when we jump, we should get 6 fault lines instead of 5. We'll have a quick look at our mana though, because we've lost over 20 mana by changing up that relic. And this is going to cost us more mana. Yeah, I mean, just one jump costs us a big old chunk. Our mana regen's not terrible though. We've not got all our wolves for some reason. More wolves, please. There we go, we only had 2 wolves out of the 5. Now we're doing damage. That leap ability is amazing, but then to be fair, so is swipe, now that we've got that extra area on swipe. It does a huge amount of damage. Yeah, this build just makes the game laughable. This is hilarious. Absolutely love this. I would be very surprised if this does not end up being my new main as we level up. Once we've got all these skills to level 20 and we're really pushing the monolith, I mean, we might find that when we start pushing the monolith and we start fighting, you know, the big zombie dragon and the other stuff, that it's really struggling against certain types of content. But I'd be pretty surprised. Our survivability will go up. That's the only thing right now that's garbage. And we know why, because our resists are terrible, our armour isn't good enough, our endurance is helping us, but everything else is terrible. However, we don't have to doubt that the way this build has been put together, it is manoeuvrable, it is quick, which I like, and my god, it does damage. Ah, don't do that. Oh, you've just dropped your thing. I had a bonus roll in there. Did we survive the thing? Oh yeah, we need to return to people. Cool. Right, I'm going to put up my portal and go back to town. My portal is an awesome tree with a hole in it, and it makes a tree noise when you summon it. You hear the leaves rustling. I never get bored of that, and it works so well for a primalist, a beast of nature. I think my next challenge might be to do a ranged build. I have made a marksman before, didn't get him very far, maybe level 35, so that's based on the rogue using bows. I have done a spellblade and a rune master, but I'd quite like to try just a plain sorcerer using wizard abilities. So there's a number of things I'd like to give a go. What I might do is do a little poll one stream or on Twitter or something, but not for a little while, because these two need training out and improving first. Particularly this build, which I think has the potential to be possibly not as well rounded as the Forge Guard. I think the Forge Guard overall can hold its own in terms of damage, and is definitely going to be more survivable for higher tier content. There are less oh shit moments where you just get a bit too close, you're not pulling enough leech and you die. But as much as I've been enjoying the Forge Guard, I enjoy this so much more. It feels faster, it feels ridiculous, and every now and again you get a great big horde of creatures and you press one button, you fly across most of the map, and they all just get deleted. It just feels unbelievably satisfying. I also don't have to remember to put my shields up and things. I can just run around with wolves and hit things, and it works. Howl! That haste on the howl is pretty cool. See, I can tell I like a build, and I found this with the Forge Guard as well. I don't need to be killing any of this stuff, right? I just need to be running through, doing the quests, getting to the Circle of Fortune, worrying about getting some prophecies. But if I see an enemy on screen, this build needs to finish it off. It's just how it works. You can hear those wolves howling almost constantly, and it's because they now howl when I kill something, they howl when they kill something, they howl when they hit a boss, and each of those howls triggers increased damage. Oh my god, look how quickly the bosses die. That's not a real boss, but you know, it's supposed to be a slightly challenging mob. I was going to right click on it and explain how much damage we were doing, but it was dead before I had the chance. Da, 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 da. It just feels, especially with that added movement speed, actually, we've lost a lot of survivability. We sacrificed resists, we sacrificed health, we sacrificed a number of things to really push movement speed, and I've never had movement speed over 30% before. But this sort of feels like where it should be, you know, especially for a build like this that needs to be punching things to get its health back. I need to be able to close on mobs while my jump ability is on cooldown. And when it's not, I can just jump over stuff. It's just too much fun. Right, we haven't got a huge amount to do here before we get to the upper district. And when we get to the upper district, we are going to be able to choose our faction. Well, we've chosen our faction, but we are going to be able to go to the observatory. I assume you can go to the observatory the moment you've gone into the upper district, but not before. I should have checked really, but I am going to finish the campaign with this character because, as I said before, it doesn't take a lot. You do get some XP and stuff, and I want those +1 to all attribute points. It's only a tiny, tiny difference, but this is a game where each tiny difference helps. You know, the intelligence will give me slight bonus to mana, that's helpful. The vitality will give me bonus to HP, the strength will give me bonus to armor and to damage, the attunement will give me bonus to my minions' damage and health. So there isn't a single stat I don't benefit from there. Right, this guy is typically quite difficult. Well, not, but he's faffy. Also, he's got massive poison damage and I have 0 poison resist. If there's 2 things that are going to kill me in this game at the moment, it's void and poison. What are we on? We are on... Oh, we're on 40% poison. It's 15% void. Off we go. Right, we've got a skill point to Warcry. We're going to do this. So for 4 seconds after we use Warcry, wolves are going to cause enemies to bleed. I could really do with reducing the cooldown of Warcry. Although it's already down to 8.7 seconds because of the cooldown we just put on our boots, which is nice. It's down from 10. But there is a chance that when Warcry is on critical, my critical strikes have a 5% chance to cast Warcry for me. It's not particularly good. 5% only if I crit. You know, I'm not running a 100% crit build.
The scalebane were never meant to be common thugs. The scalebane use these to stage ambushes on people and trader caravans. Makes me sick to see them exploit our people like this.
No chance, don't you think about getting back up. Oh man. I think the thing about Last Epoch for me is it has so many of these moments where, I mean, I said this about the Forge Guard build. I played it for days, and every time when I was streaming I would just say, I just love playing this build, it's just, this build is so amazing. And I really thought that I'd sort of captured lightning in a bottle with that build, and it was the first build I'd ever made on my own and without a build guide, and I was really pleased with it, and it was fun to play. But this is the second one I've ever done, and it feels different, but just as fun. And I think this game is just very good at letting you make builds that play the way you want them to, that are just tremendous fun to play. Right, somewhere over here is the little... here we are. So if we go into here, we can find ourselves an idol that we can sell for 20,000 gold, which I'm never going to say no to. Oh, I expected that to be a little bit trickier.
I'd love to clear them out at some point, but we've got far too much to do right now.
You're not wrong. We have a lot of stuff to do. See, I've been very careful not to even watch other people's build guides, because I think it's very difficult to watch someone else's build guide and not be slightly tempted, you know, not hear them say, oh, well, if you do this, it can proc that, and, you know, you'll get a bonus to this, and this is how it works. I think it can be very easy to remember that when you do your build guides and think, well, I'm not doing it optimally if I do what Mr. Streamer says, rather than just experimenting. What I've been doing with all these builds is putting points in stuff, realising that it either doesn't work, a bit like that stacks of shield that I was talking about earlier that don't work for me because I'm not directly casting the skill, and therefore they don't stack quickly enough. You know, you either work that stuff out, find it just doesn't feel good. You know, the Frenzy Totem on paper was the absolute best thing this build could have. It just increased my attack speed, which increased my leech. It gave my pets bonuses. It did all sorts of stuff. But I just found the way that you cast it with a button click felt clunky and horrible. And so, on that basis, I didn't like it. And so I took it off. The build sort of has to feel organically like something you want to play. That was awful. I said organically. I've gone into professional work mode. Any minute now I'm going to start saying something terrible like, you know, I don't know. We won't say that. It would be absolutely awful of me to start saying things that, you know, need to be symbiotic or
bound by the chains of fate. I will shatter them. Along with who would seek to bind me. Freedom will be our future. My future, at any cost.
So campaign spoilers, she's a big deal. Degrees of friction. That's my other job. That's my OnlyFans account. I'm not allowed to put that link on Twitch. Then you've got another quest for me doing exactly the same thing again. I'll talk to you. You'll tell me to sod off. You'll tell me how weird the whole thing was.
I am not sure if we can trust this friend of yours.
So we'll talk to my friend, and then we're going to go and visit the Circle of Fortune.
I overheard. You've stared a full after, but that'll.
Yep, let's do it.
Absolutely. And hey, if you're looking, fancy a little extra work. Now you're just, as I'm sure, his name. Bring me his head, of course.
Nice. So we've got 2 quests from him. We've got a couple of quests from them.
Let me know if you have any questions.
Well, if you're here for the OnlyFans, mate, Google my link tree. It's on there. I'll even give you mates rates, premium discount. Right, where are we? We are going to the Oh, we can't go to the observatory yet. We have not unlocked the bazaar in the observatory, so we obviously have to go and chat to the person up here first. But then we can finally spend. Here we go.
I see you, mates. While you're allied with one, you won't be accepted into the other.
Oh, I see. So they don't. Oh, they do auto unlock. There we go. Right. So here's how Circle of Fortune works. This is what I've been pushing to get back to since I made this character 2 days ago. 2 days and what are we on? 56 levels? Yeah, 56 levels. So there's a couple of things that I can spend this ridiculous chunk of 13,000 fortune on favour.
Yes.
I can buy lenses from this lady. I can buy random items. So if I've got loads of the stuff, I can buy these and it's gambling. So this is a one-handed axe. I like one-handed axes, they're amazing. I could buy it and it will have random properties. And I gamble to see if... I don't even think it's this base type particularly. I think it can turn into pretty much any axe of any properties, I think, but it can't be a unique or a set item. It can only be a random rarity item. So I could do that. I could also buy from her
I'm
lenses.
just on my way to amend the record.
So for example, I've already bought this lens, which is in my stash somewhere. If I put this lens into my telescope, when I'm looking for prophecies, and I'm about to do that now, I get a 20% increased chance per rank to find one-handed axes. Now, technically, I am rank 5, so that should be a 100% increased chance. Don't know what the chance of finding one-handed axes is, but it should be doubled. So if we go to the weapons telescope, so there's one here for weapons, there's one down here which is accessories, the one over here is idols, and the one up here is armour. And I can look down them. I've also unlocked a second lens slot, which is nice. So looking down here, if I do this, if I kill Herot in the Age of Winter timeline, I will get 2 unique one-handed axes. Now, I'm not going to get to the Age of Winter timeline for a long time. It's as far as I've got with my other character, and it took me quite a way. But 2 unique one-handed axes is a really good bonus for me, because I'm still hunting for one of those uniques for the 2-axe build that I want when I finally get up there. So I'm going to take that, because I can store a load of prophecies for quite a long time. Clicking this will change what's in here. So what I'm going to do before I do that, it'll change my constellation. So I'm going to go and look at my lenses. I'm going to pick up... Oh, that's interesting. Oh, of course. Ah, my other lens is on my other character. So I could mess around with my characters, and maybe that's worth doing. We'll worry about it later. We'll worry about it later. Let's just buy it. Claim the prophecy. So I could buy shields. I don't care about shields on this build. I'm going two-handed. I could get a set weapon by killing Frost Leech Formosus in Blood, Frost and Death. If I kill any rare enemy in the monolith 7 times, I will get an exalted one-handed sword. Yes, please. That sounds amazing. So we've bought a couple of prophecies. By buying a couple of prophecies, we've made a teeny tiny bit. This 139,000 rep is going down a bit in terms of how much we need. If I go and have a look at some armour, I need pretty much everything. We've got unique body armours. Set body armours are quite useful. I'd have to complete the Soulfire Bastion dungeon. I've done Soulfire Bastion once before, and the first version of it is level 45, and it's not too difficult. So I could do that, and it might give me the set body armour that I'm missing for the particular set I'm working on. Or we could get some unique boots or some unique body armours. We could get some exalted belts by killing 3 exiled mages. Let's try for some exalted belts for now. Okay, so all of these are uniques. So if we come out of here, we've essentially gained another 3,000. We're only at 136,000 needed now. So let's go and splurge the majority of this. I want some idols. So what's this? Kill a boff. No, boff. A boff in a monolith. A boss in a monolith. But it has to be at 50 corruption. And I'm not going to start corrupting monoliths for a long time. 4 arena keys. That's... Oh god, that's kill Rahe with 130 corruption. Jeez. If I kill Herot in the Age of Winter timeline, I get 8 adorned idols. Well, I've already got one to kill Herot, but really I'm not bothered by it. This one is Tier 3 Arena, which we're not going to be able to do on this character. So we can start re-rolling these, but let's have a look at what the accessory ones are first. Rare rings. Kill Architect Liath in the Sanctum of the Architect. Well, we've just done that. That's not in any... That's just in the campaign. Let's just go to the Sanctum of the Architect, kill Liath. We get 10 rare rings for that. Well, we know we can kill her. We know she's dead easy, so we'll have that. Then what else do we get? Exalted rings, that requires corruption. Husk of Elder Gaspar in the Last Ruin timeline, never even done that. Amulets I don't care about because I'm using a legendary amulet, one of which I've got now, and I've already found the other one that I need for my build starting from level 63, so I don't care about amulets at all. So... Oh, mate, this game went into 1.0 last Wednesday, but it's been in early access for 4 years. And I considered it a completed game before it went into 1.0. I thought it had more content than Diablo 4 does probably now. I think it's got a lot to do, a lot of different systems depending on how you like to play. But they added so much last Wednesday in 1.0, so much. And this whole system is the whole reason I went with Circle of Fortune. This way of target farming is really cool. So let's, for example, say, what are we missing here? We've got this, we've got these. We want those axes, which we're target farming. So let's have a look for... Let's buy the one-handed axes lens. I would also like... So I can now buy greater lenses. So these change some of the conditions. So this gives me a 15% chance per rank to find exalted items. This gives me a 15% chance to find set items, so I can be hunting set items or exalted items. 100% chance for prophecies to have monolith events. So if I put that lens in, all of my requirements will be in the monolith. So if I choose, if I want to run monoliths, that's the bit of the game I really enjoy. I only want to run monoliths. I don't want to have to do arena. I don't want to have to do dungeons. I could put that lens in, and it would mean that it's always going to be monolith, and I can start to cherry pick what type of items I want in the monolith. 100% reduced chance for prophecies to have campaign events, so you wouldn't have to do the campaign. Reduced chance to have high corruption. That is quite useful because we've got a lot of high corruption prophecies at the moment, and I'm not going to be... We'll talk about corruption another day, but we're not going to be running high corruption monoliths for a long time. The highest corruption I've ever run pre-launch was 4, and that made enough of a difference, but until we get right the way through the end game, that doesn't really matter. So as I understand it, if we now say that lens in there, this lens in here, we've now got... So it applies, but these prophecies have already been found. I think this is how it works, because putting them on didn't make any difference to what's up there. But now, oops, we've got it. Hopefully, there should be a reduced chance of having high corruption requirements, and we should be getting a better chance of one-handed axes. So if I click here and re-roll this, re-roll the constellation. Let's find another one. Right, no one-handed. Oh, hang on. One-handed axes. Exalted one-handed axes. Kill an exiled mage. 100% want that. 100% want that. That's exactly what I want. It's an easy trigger. Exalted two-handed axe. No, we don't want two-handed. We don't want daggers, and we don't want wands. So let's just skip that. Let's find one more axes. That's spears. One-handed swords are good. That's got a high corruption. Don't like that. Death of Hero again. We don't want bows. Set weapons. Yeah, okay. So none of those are particularly good for us, and I'd rather be looking at the armour. I can leave my lenses in that telescope. You know, I don't have to take them back out again. They'll sit in there. I can find some unique boots, unique belt, unique body armour. That's tier 2 arena. We are, oh, sorry, tier 2 dungeon. I'm not sure we're quite up to that yet. So we'll re-roll this one. I don't want that's high corruption. Deaths of void horrors in the monolith for exalted gloves. Yes, please. I want... Lightless Arbor Dungeon is difficult. I did it once before on stream, and I was really cocky because it was level 65 and I was like level 76 or 77, and I got annihilated. But I believe I can do it at a lower level, like level 50. I just chose not to because I thought it wouldn't be fun. And we get rare armour. Let's try it. Rare enemy. See, I also like exploring all the different content, so this is giving me a chance to do that. Death of Hearten's Husk in the Fall of the Empire timeline. Don't think I've done that one. Soulfire Bastion, kill a rare enemy for exalted body armour. Arena tier 4 is pretty tough. Let's re-roll, see if we can get a pricey one. Temporal Sanctum, Death of Julra. Julra is what killed me last time. Death of an Exiled Mage, anywhere in the world for some rare shrine boots. Yeah, that's cheap, but we'll take it. And then hopefully we've got one more somewhere that we can afford. Chamber of Vessels, Death of Majasa. Well, we're going to be doing that anyway because that's part of the campaign, so absolutely we'll take that. So we've spent a great chunk of our favour, right? Can't afford any of these. That's fine. So having spent a great big chunk of our favour, this has dropped. It was 149. We've taken 30,000 off here. So, you know, we've made some progress towards the next rank. But we've also got all these prophecies. So we've got to kill an exiled mage. We've got to defeat Architect Liath. We've got to defeat more exiled mages. We've got to kill a rare enemy. We've got to do all sorts of different things. And I can store up to this many of these. So what is that? 12 for 48 different prophecies. And if they're full, I can click them to get rid of them. I'm not going to try it because I don't know if you get a warning or if it just does it. So I can just stack these up for things that I'm looking for in game modes that I enjoy, and then just by playing passively I will occasionally get a massive loot explosion. I'll kill a certain enemy and it will just go boom, loot pinata, and I get loads of cool stuff dropping on the floor. So I get these cool passive bonuses, you know, better chance for monolith rewards, better idol drops, better chance for exalted affixes, high level affixes. But equally, by just playing, I will get more loot and better quality loot. So I don't have to do too much actively. Yes, I have to come back to the observatory and I have to mess around with this, but it's great fun. I really, really enjoy it. What I am going to do is I'm going to take these out of here. And the reason is, if they're in my inventory, my other character can use them. If they're not, he can't, as we've just found out. I've ended up buying 2 of the Axes one, just so that we didn't have to mess around. Right, so we're not going to do any more of the campaign just at the moment. What we're going to do is a little bit of endgame. Let's see what the endgame looks like. So in the endgame, we talked about it briefly at the beginning, but I appear somehow to have killed my Twitch chat overlay. So I missed that comment initially, so I will put it back up now. Actually, where did that go? Give me the desktop. There we go. Yeah, so I'm looking around here, I'm like, oh, here we go. But yes, they are just loot pinatas. You will see it. Thank you for your test. I saw the test. It is back up. I have got chat over to my right, but I hate looking away and going, did somebody write something? Did they not? So I've got a clear overlay on here that I can see. But I have to keep dragging it around, and when it gets in the way, I accidentally close it sometimes instead of just moving it. So the way the end game works is we have these little islands in space, and each of these, I quite like this, they're each alternate timelines. So some of them are familiar maps, some of them are familiar sort of characters from the story, but they're what happened if something else changed in time. So sometimes the good guys in the campaign are bad guys in this, and vice versa. You know, different people took over different areas. You go into these monoliths, and they have these little echoes, which are the tiny little islands that we saw earlier, and every time you go to one of those islands, we'll go through it in a little bit of detail when he finally teleports. They will have a certain reward, they will have some certain modifiers. It's a bit roguelike, which I like. So the way I normally do this is I go in here, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to get far away from this, and apparently the ideal way is to sort of just go in a straight line away, not what I've done here. But I'm going for these rewards on these different little echoes or islands. So the next one down here would give me rare relics. That's the echo rewarded rare relics, 13 timeline stability, and up to 28 bonus stability. And stability is ultimately what you're hunting in here. To finish the monolith, you have to get the stability up. There's a bar at the top there, and it has 3 quests. So one is already unlocked, that's the big yellow icon. One will unlock at 160 stability, so 65 more stability will unlock the second quest, and at 240 total stability we will unlock the final quest. And the final quest is usually a boss fight, and when you've killed that boss, it's always a boss fight I think, you kill the boss, you gain a blessing from them, which is a permanent buff to your character, they drop their own unique loot, and then you complete this echo of this monolith and you move on to the next one. And the end game is to farm all these monoliths until you have completed the 3 level 90 ones. Then you can activate empowered monoliths, where the same thing happens over again, but they're all at level 100 and the bosses are harder. And then you start farming corruption. And corruption comes from certain nodes. The further away you get from here, you will get random nodes that allow you to fight a boss called the Shade of Oribus. And when you beat him, depending on how far away from the central node he is, you'll gain a certain amount of corruption. And that corruption makes enemies harder, makes drops better, and increases the loot quality of some of the bosses. So if you can get over... I know that pre 1.0 it was 200 corruption was the limit where bosses started dropping their really super rare unique items. So you need to sort of do all of that. If we go back here, this one with the rare relics is going to give me the timeline stability. The up to 28 bonus stability is based on how many creatures I kill. So the best way to do this usually is to go in, finish the quest and get out. And whatever bonus stability you get is great, but the stability is so easy to farm in these early monoliths. You're better off getting more rewards and not worrying about killing every last creature on the map. There's a couple of modifiers. So there was a modifier for the enemies here. They will have 30% increased health, and there's a little number 2 on that, so it will apply to this echo and the next echo. So as you go on further down the chain, you can stack up quite a lot of modifiers, negative modifiers that make it more and more difficult. But I also gain modifiers. So I will gain 8% increased item rarity and 12% increased XP for 2 echoes. But I don't tend to look at that, we just tend to throw ourselves in and do them. So you jump in and it will tell you what your current modifiers are and what your current objective is in this particular echo. So we have to kill enough enemies to locate the Ash Gate and then seal the Ash Gate by killing all the enemies around it. And at the moment, enemies have 30% increased health, they heal if they've not been damaged recently, which is from a previous echo, and then I get the increased item rarity stuff. Well, that's fine. First off, I want all my wolves, please. Secondly, they're not going to get a chance to heal because they are going to get damaged recently quite a lot. You can really feel the extra health. That's actually making a massive difference. So now we do what the quest tells us, which is we kill things until the location of the Ash Gate is revealed on the map, and then we go over there and we crush it by activating it and killing all the mobs that spawn. And these echoes normally take 3 to 4 minutes, depending on how quick you are at sort of farming through things and what the quest is. Right, the Ash Gate. Ah, look at that. That was a prophecy that we just progressed. And we got our little loot pinata. And it may not look like a particularly exciting loot pinata, but if I hold down this, that's what actually dropped. It's just that I've filtered out all that stuff using my in-game loot filter, so I'm only looking at items that are relevant to this build. Otherwise, there's too much stuff on the ground for you to work out what on earth you want to pick up. But we are now satisfying prophecies left and right as well, and gaining loads of cool items, so this is pretty cool. I just think this game is ace. It's a really good one if you want to sit down and think. If you're feeling mathematical and min-maxy and you want to make your own builds, it's a really good place to do it, because there's so much variety and so much flexibility. But if you've spent a bit of time making your min-maxed builds and you want to just sit back with a drink and click 3 buttons and watch everything on screen die and drop nice shiny hats for you, it's also a great game for that. Look at that, another prophecy fulfilled. We are just crushing the prophecies here, left and right, and we're getting gear for it out the wazoo. The only danger with having 7 or 8 prophecies on at once is we're going to fill our bags so quickly. Like, normally that wouldn't happen because my loot filter is pretty tight. It doesn't let a lot of things through. But turns out, with the prophecies, we're still getting a bajillion drops. Okay, Okay, we've not even got to the gate yet. I've just been enjoying crushing stuff way too much. Like, we could have just run straight to the gate, ignored all the creatures, and done the map like this. Okay, one jump. I can't resist a jump. It's just too tempting to hit the button and land on someone's head. Look at that. Look at that. We filled our damn inventory already. I've no room for, literally, for any of this stuff.
No room.
Wow. Okay, we're going to have to do some on-the-fly itemization. Which is not too difficult. We'll stand over here. Oh no, we won't. There we go. Right, very quickly. Crap. Crap. Crappish, but crappy enough. Ooh, I like these scimitars. Some of the scimitars are potentially lethal. Right, sort those out. We've not even done... Oh look, there's an exiled mage over there, and if we do an exiled mage we're going to get a loot explosion. Well, I'm not doing it, because we'll have too much stuff to pick up. So, gold... You need so much money, mate. I am constantly broke. I cannot find a way to farm money quick enough in this game. So you need gold, because in order to craft, and I haven't really covered crafting very well, and I think when I did cover crafting you were away, but in order to craft you need shards, and shards come from a number of places, but the primary way you get shards you want, you can pick them up off the ground. So these are my shards. At the moment I've got 2,992. And they are shards for my prefixes and my suffixes. So for example, in my prefixes I've got 18 shards for health gained on block, which means I can level that up to 18 times on different items, vaguely. I've got like 26 for these. I've got a lot more strength. I've got like 90 something, 40 something. There's loads of different affixes. So I think prefixes and suffixes, there's like 700 and something maybe. The best way to get the affixes you want is you find a piece of gear. So this one has +2 strength on it, and I want strength. So I open up my forge, which is where I do my crafting. I drop this in, and I use a rune of shattering to destroy the item, and it pulls a random number of shards from these 4 affixes off the item and puts them in my inventory. So I use that all the time. I go through runes of shattering like they are nothing. You can pick these up in the open world. I get 4 or 5 a session. You can buy them from vendors, sometimes 10 or 12 at a time, but they cost $2,000 each. So you need to go around vendors buying millions and millions worth of runes of shattering and shattering stuff. Now if I'd gone, instead of Circle of Fortune, if I'd gone trade, then you need gold to buy things from the auction house. So if you're buying things in the trade guild, the merchants guild, you use favour to list an item or to put in your bid, but the currency you buy items with is gold. So you'll look at unique items on there which will sell for like 1 to 30 million gold. So you need gold as a sink on that side, but it's very, very useful here. There is also, and this is there's a mechanic I love in this game. There are 3 dungeons, right? And there's a reason there are only 3 dungeons. A, because they are all very different and they serve very different purposes. So a dungeon is not, you go into a place, it has a number of mini bosses and a big boss, you kill them, you get certain types of loot. There's one dungeon in this game where you have to go in and you have a shield, and it can be either fire or necrotic, and different attacks will target you at different times, and you have to switch the shield, and switching it costs souls that you get by farming the creatures in the dungeon, and if you don't, you get killed very easily. When you get to the end after beating the boss, any souls you've got left over you can use to gamble for items. So you buy a base item but you can't see its stats, and when you drag it over to your inventory it will randomly spawn the stats for that item. So you might roll something amazing, you might roll something crap. There's another dungeon where you make legendary items, which is the coolest mechanic in the game. So neither of these have it, but these unique items here always have a set list of abilities. They're not 4 randoms. Like this is 2 random prefixes, melee damage, leech to health, melee physical damage, 2 random suffixes, health on hit, chance to ignite. This is always these abilities. They roll within a range, so the ranges can be seen by pressing Control Alt, but it's always those exact abilities on that unique item. If that unique item had legendary potential, its legendary potential will be between 1 and 4, and what you do is you do the dungeon where you make legendary items, and you put a unique with legendary potential and a purple item of the same type, so for these it would have to be purple gloves, into a machine at the end of the dungeon when you've beaten the boss, and it smashes them together, and the unique item will take at random a number of affixes from the purple item equal to its legendary potential. So if it was legendary potential 4, it would take every affix from that purple item and add it in addition to what it already has. If it's got legendary potential 1, it will take 1 at random. So you might get lucky and get the one you really want, or you might get unlucky and take one that's not very good. But that means that your legendary items in the game, they're crafted by you, and they are always going to be unique to you, because they will depend on the unique item you used, the legendary potential it had, and the item you combined it with, and which affixes it pulled off. So that's the second dungeon. The third dungeon, speaking of loot pinatas, and I've never played this dungeon, so I don't know it entirely, but I've seen the mechanic on someone's video. You go into the dungeon, you beat the dungeon, and at the end is a big vault door, and at that vault door you can pay gold, huge amounts of gold, to spawn different boxes. So it can say, you know, and it's a bit roguelike again, so it might say, you know, plus 20% chance to drop unique items, costs 70,000 gold. Click, yes please, I want that. Plus X% chance to drop set items. Nope, not looking for those, ignore that. You know, 1.8 million gold to add 2 more chests to the loot chamber. Yes please. You can sink tens of thousands, maybe tens of millions of gold into that vault door, and when you finally click open, it spawns a vault to your specifications that just explodes loot. So there are a number of different gold sinks in the game. I could have just said there are a number of different gold sinks in the game, couldn't I, rather than getting all enthusiastic. But there are, and the game is great. The game is just freaking amazing. Oh, I've just noticed my YOLO mouse isn't working, so my cursor is not the shiny cursor that I'm used to, which is why I can't tell where the heck it is. Because I have a little modified cursor through a little Steam app, which is really useful in the chaos of combat for working out where your mouse cursor is. And I was trying to work out why it had gone somewhere. Right, completed the echo. My poor wolf got knocked out over here, so if we stand in the circle he gets revived. Oh god, look at all this cool shit. Right, so these are shards. So I've got 2 shards here. One is bow attack speed, one is endurance threshold. So I can pick those up. I can click to transfer materials, they'll automatically get put in my stash. Let's just see if any of these items is worth having, and if it is, we'll have to drop something else. The thing is, you don't get all your loot yourself. You get a percentage chance to get the loot you want, but the whole point of an action RPG like this is your build could always be better. You can always min-max. You could always get better rolls, better affixes, better percentages, better tiers. The crafting system works randomly. So here, I have 37 forging potential. If I want to increase this health buff, which is currently 4% increased health, that's pretty good by the way. If I want to increase that to tier 2, it's going to cost me between 1 and 10 forging potential. So it might be that increasing that one level, and this one level bricks this item. Might completely ruin the forging potential. Or I might get lucky with a glyph of hope, which gives me a 25% chance not to use forging potential. Or I might get a critical, which will increase 2 affixes by 1 level, and it won't cost any forging potential. So the game is a really ingenious mix of RNG, targeted farming and targeted crafting, but as with any well-balanced ARPG, you're still reliant on RNG. There's enough ways that you can have agency in this game and shape that RNG and farm for things you need and try and get the thing that will make your build work, but there is no guaranteed way to do it at all. So essentially what you want in this game more than anything is more loot explosions all day every day, because the more things drop, the more chance that one perfect item drops. And don't ask me what it looks like, because I don't know how to assess items very well yet. That's alright actually. Although 15 forging potential, I'm never going to turn it into something good. Melee damage and stun chance damage leech to health, maybe. Right, 25% increased aspect of the shark effect. I'm not going to tell you why that's good, but it is good. Although it's only 9... no, we'll have it, we'll have it. We didn't say that. Axe of conflagration, physical damage, damage over time. Right, okay, I'm happy enough with all that. That's fine. Right, so we have finished this Echo. We can leave the Echo, claim our reward, which is... oh god, it's a thing we can't pick up. Hooray! Right, let's find a thing that we don't need. Let's go to her and sell. And like I say, normally I wouldn't be picking up stuff I don't need particularly, so I wouldn't be selling random stuff, but when I'm streaming it's just like run round hoover stuff. The other problem is when you do Circle of Fortune, you occasionally do 4 prophecies in one single Echo and you get this full inventory of junk. And most of it is junk. Let's have a look what we've got. 5, 7, 7, 8. Yep, that was good. So... oh, hang on, that's got plus 23 melee physical damage on it. Yikes. We're going to want to keep that. That's not bad either. Attack speed I want to keep. I'm intrigued by this one. No, that is not good. Okay. However, it has got good stats. None of these are really obvious, just ditch items. Right, that one is. That one is. I like the 13% endurance, but we don't need it because we've got endurance elsewhere. Those aren't great. Assessing stuff on the fly is always tricky.
Take care.
No room.
Of course there's no room. Transfer those, sort that out, pick that up. Right. So, for the sake of simplicity, what do we do? Poison damage, don't care. Minion health regen, maybe care. What's this? 100% dodge rating. Nope. It's always nice when you get purple weapon, you get all excited, and then the purple affix. So a purple weapon is one that has either a tier 6 or a tier 7 affix on it, right? So tier 1 to 5, if I look at this, this has got a tier 4 increased physical damage affix. The most I can craft that to is tier 5. Tier 5 is the highest anything can go. So when we look at these purple items, they always have one that is, in this case, going to be tier 6. I don't think we get any tier 7s until we get to the empowered monoliths. So these are affixes that can roll higher than the maximum craftable level. So there are still items you want to pick up off the floor because you can't craft them to that level. This one's really good. It gives melee cold damage. This one gives melee void damage. This one gives damage over time for minions. And then you find a random purple one that's like, have an extra 100% increased dodge rating. Great if you're using a dodge build rogue, I guess. No good for me whatsoever. What was that scimitar we just picked up? Void damage, physical damage. Pretty sure that is not going to increase our damage. No, it's not. Right, so we've got a load of items here we need to sort. So... let us sort that and then just shove a whole load of random stuff into here. We'll bother with the crafting of it later, because I'm running out of inventory slots, because guess what? I've run out of money again. Because you need gold to buy your inventory slots. You can buy up to 200 tabs in your inventory. You can organise them however you want. I've organised them this way. I've got 3 tabs for my idols, which are these items up here that give you bonuses to your resists and various other abilities. And you can use those for really rounding out and crafting your character. So I've got 3 full tabs of those to try and make the right builds. These are my 2 tabs of unique items, which I can use, some of them for crafting legendaries. So for example, this woven flesh has 1 legendary potential. It would take 1 affix onto it. Then I've got 3 tabs of exalteds. I need to go through these and work out which ones are actually complete garbage and just want getting rid of, which ones want breaking down and which ones we just don't care about. I've got a number of experimentals. I've currently got a whole stash tab for keys, but that can go quite soon because they have said, the devs have said, they are going to put a patch in that will give you a key ring that will hold infinite keys. And then I've got a tab for lenses, which I'm going to end up buying a few of when I start doing my looking down stuff. It's all good. So we've got loads of cool stuff. And then for classes, I've got 1 for my Sentinel and 1 tab for my Primalist, which is why I don't want to make another alt character because I'm just going to run out of room. But at the moment I've got, what, like maybe 10, 12 tabs. I can have 200 stash tabs. But my next one, if I wanted to buy another Primalist one, is going to cost me 80,000. And they go up and up from there. So as you get further into the game, you end up spending like 1.5, 1.7, 1.9 million per tab to try and get those last few tabs. So there's lots of different ways to gold sink in the game. I was going to put idols away in there. Right, we are on 8:30. Tonight was an unexpected stream. So what I'm going to do is we are going to do 1 more piece of content, and when we have done said piece of content, we are going to do and raid somebody. We've got 4 people here, and I want to raid somebody before everyone disappears because I've never done it, and I bet it would be awesome fun. So we're going to take a point in here. In fact, we got 2 points. We leveled up twice while I was talking bollocks. That's good because that gives me 5 strength and attunement and +1 to all attributes. So now we've got +2 to all attributes. I'm not sure where the other ones come from. When we finish the campaign, we'll have +3 apparently. Oh, Dex and Intelligence must come from some gear. But that's just a nice big general buff. And then we've got some skill points to spend. And then I'm going to show you something. That was going to sound really suspicious. I was going to say I'm going to show you something that only Jellyfish Gamer has seen. But I am. We'll do a bit more damage on swipe. We will do another point in there for mana cost and area, and then we're going to take the other fault line and just see how it works out. So, the thing that only Jellyfish Gamer has seen so far is we are going to do the arena. It was just for you, baby. So, we've got an arena key. We can right click on it. It will show us on the map where the arena is. With this character, I have not yet been to the arena, so we'll go to the Wengari Fortress. We will run through. So the time I did the arena for Jellyfish Gamer, well, for the stream, but he was there, and it was for him really. I think we did the level 50 arena and went, this is good, let's do the level 70 arena, and I went in there, got cocky and died. I've since finished the level 70 arena. I don't know why I'm killing things in here. This area is way too low level for me now. I'm just farming noobs. I have tried the level 90 arena, and I'm intrigued to know whether we can whether we have to start at level 50 because this will be the first time this character has done it, or whether we can start at level 70 because one of my characters has previously done the level 70 arena, 50 arena. So it was brilliant. So what we're going to do is I'm going to see what it'll let me do. If it will let me do the level 70 arena, mind you, we would be wasting an arena key, and it turns out arena keys, I've realised, are amazing because if you look at it carefully, they're worth 6.5 grand. So if you farm a whole load of arena keys, they're a really quick, easy way to make cash. So one of those keys is worth more than 3 of those runes of shattering. So I do want arena keys, and I do want to keep arena keys. And you can get a few of them for finishing the arena. However, I do wonder if we really test this build, and it will fall down on survivability, but we test it by... If it'll let us going into the level 71 at level 57 and seeing how long we can go. We won't finish it, but we can see how long we can last for. Which, you know, is the ultimate question any man asks himself. Right, I need to find the waypoint in here, and I need to find the access to the arena. Ah, here we go. A bridge is always a good sign. Oh my god, look how big that guy was! He just died in one hit from the jump. Genius. Absolute genius. These I don't think are low levels. I think these are more like level appropriate on the way to the arena. Here we go. So here is the waypoint. And then from here we can go... Oh no, that's not the arena. Arena must be up here. Go on, we want to crush waves. So the way the arena works is it's basically a horde mode. So we go in and we have to fight 40 waves of enemies. And between every 5 waves, it gets harder. And between every 10 waves, you have to choose a modifier, sort of roguelike again. And depending on which modifier you take, the rewards you get if you beat the boss are improved. So if you take the harder of the 2 modifiers, you will get better rewards when you kill the boss. If you kill the boss. And so you can, and these things stack up. So every 10 rounds, you put on a ton of modifiers, and we see what happens. I think that has unlocked the waypoint for us, but I am going to just double check. No, it hadn't. Now it has. Perfect. So we've got our arena key. Let's go see if it will let us do high level arena. No, we have to start at 50. Sorry to disappoint. But if I die in 50, that's going to be even funnier. The thing to remember here is we're starting out facing waves of level 50 enemies. Big deal. But they are going to get harder every 5 waves, and they're going to get modifiers. So I tell you what we'll do, because we're starting on level 50, because we're streaming, we're going to take the hardest of each of the modifiers each time. And I will tell you now, what that will guarantee is we will not beat the boss. Because the boss is such a step up from every single wave in here. So I pretty much guarantee that if we take all the hardest modifiers to health and damage, the boss will pretty much one-shot us, I think. But it will be funny. So we'll see how far we can get with the hardest modifiers, and we'll see whether we can even take 2 seconds with the boss. The other challenge is the boss of the level 1 arena is mainly poison damage. So that's the first 5 waves. I get to smash some barrels, pick up some stuff. If I need it, I can sell things to this lady or put things in my chest. When I'm ready, I can continue onwards and do harder waves. But yeah, the boss at the end of the arena, certainly the first two acts of the arena, he just drops massive poison clouds on the floor, and they do so much damage. And I've only got 40% poison res. So I think if we took the easier set of modifiers, he would probably kill us. If we take the harder set, we've no chance. So we're going to do that if we get to him. If we get to him, but I'm almost guaranteeing we get to him. All right, depending on what modifiers we get, because a couple of arenas ago, I got some that were 160% health and 180% damage, and that it felt like it doubled the level of the creatures. You know, it wasn't a subtle change. So we'll see what we get, but I'll stick by what I said. Right, so that's the 10 waves complete, right? So we get to go and smash the barrels again. see if anything good drops out. Not for me. Put the stuff away. This time we get to choose. We go to a new arena for every 10 waves. So we could say, drop me some more affix shards if I kill the champion. He'll be, every creature in here for the rest of the run will be 20% more damage, 20% more health. And actually, it's the same bonus either way, so I'm going to take the shards. But these will stack up. So whatever I choose next time will be cumulative. And we're just going to do these arenas killing waves and waves and waves of enemies. They're quite a good way to get XP actually, because you're only fighting enemies in a very condensed place. And if I can find one of these shrines that I keep clicking on that gives me bonus XP per kill, then we can actually really grind some levels in here pretty effectively. It does help when we can just jump on things' heads and delete them. That is kind of fun. Although the 20% health is already noticeable. Ish. My god. Right. I do want to go and see if one of these is a health buff shrine. No, allied ice beetle. We'll take an allied ice beetle. Thank you very much. Okay, that's a set of waves. We'll go and smash the barrels before we attempt the harder waves. We're getting there. We're nearly hitting 58 as well. What did we start the stream on? 55? It's not bad. I've talked most of the time. We've done barely any playing. So, harder wave, no modifiers other than harder. And after this one, this will be wave 20 when we finish this. And then we will be doing... Oh, don't stand in the fire, my friends. Oh, excellent. We had a mission to kill one of those. I've just said don't stand in the fire, then jumped in it myself. That was very nearly a premature end to the run. I don't like a premature end to anything. Right. What's this? Increased mana regen, not really what I'm looking for. Okay, we got it. That's 20 waves. So we'll smash the barrels. Take a sash. Right, so here we get to choose another modifier. Make sure that we're not filling up. So for the level 30s, right, here we go. We can get him to drop rare weapons, and that's 40% more damage and health for the whole run on enemies. So we'll take it. We said we'd take the hardest. What's this? That's, ooh, move, attack and cast speed. That is about the best bonus shrine we can find. That's experience on kill. Right, here we go. We should kill things quickly if we don't die. My god, that step up of 40% damage has really helped. I've got to watch that my doggos don't die actually now, because they're going to start doing massive damage to the pets as well. Oh, he's a big beast. Ah, that's poison. Oh god. The only thing worse than poison, these guys do necrotic. Necrotic I have about 25% chance, or 25% resist to, I think. Hey, so we did it just. No more, well, there's increase in difficulty here, but no more modifiers. Ooh, we've got legendary boots. So we'll do this. And then after this, we have the final arena wave. And the final arena wave is insanity, because it's a tiny arena. None of this enemies come from round corners, go find them stuff we're doing here. It's just you stand in the middle of a tiny arena and things just spawn and come at you and spawn and come at you. And if you manage to survive and you think you've just about done it, the boss spawns in that same arena and suddenly you are overwhelmed. So we're going to do that because it'll be hilarious fun. That's, again, if we get there. What is this shrine? Could help us. More experience on kill. Excellent. Oh, that I wouldn't normally worry about, but I do. Hey, 58. Come on, this is good. Okay, 58's going to help us. We're not going to level up, obviously, until we finish this, but we can level up before we go into the final room of the arena. Bang. fact, I would say bang-a-rang. Right, let's see how confident we're feeling. Now, in this final room, we don't get to do 5 waves and then the boss. We get to do 5 waves, the boss immediately spawns. We do not get a little respite where it says, would you like to do a harder wave? I'm going to start taking increased damage because once I get to 5 points in here, I will do 25% more damage, my minions will do 25% more damage, and when we hit the 5-point bonus, the cooldown recovery on my Fury Leap goes up by 10%, so I will reduce the time in between my jumps. So I'm very excited to get that up there. We've also got a point in Warcry. We're going to make wolves make things bleed more. I'm not sure about this node, but we're going to play with it and see what we think. Big breath. Big boy pants on. Harder waves. I said we would take the hardest one, right? So the arena champion, if we beat him, is going to drop a unique weapon. But all the mobs in the next room, plus the arena champion, are going to do 160% more damage and have 160% more health. So in total, we will have... What are we going to be on? We're going to be on... Jesus, 220% bonus damage and health. So 3 times damage and health to all enemies in this section. I don't think we'll see the boss. I really don't. I mean, we're pretty much level appropriate for this. So, my god. Oh my god, they hit unfeasibly hard. I'm going to have to just keep hitting so much. Hit the howl. Why won't you howl? Oh my god. Oh my god. Don't stand in the crap. No, no, no. You're standing in the crap. We're going to die. This is horrific. The amount of health they've got is just unbelievable. We should be one-shotting most of this stuff. No chance. If we can get to the boss, I will be pleased. But one mistake is going to cost us the run, because all it takes is them to hit us with one AoE thing and we're done. Okay, we made the boss. I said I'd be pleased. I am. Let's see if we can kill him. He is going to be utterly mental. Do not stand in his poison. Shit, there's the poison, and yep, that did it. My god, it's still ticking. I can't even take the poison off me. Oh god, he's down to my pets. I've got to get the pet back up but not stand in the... Did he throw an axe there? What happened? I was slain by a shadow cascade from the Crimson Blade. Physical. Yeah, it wasn't a poison. He threw something into my face hole and I died. How much health has he got left? Like 90%. Okay, that was tough. That was tough, but I enjoyed that. That is a good way to do it. So normally I would do that with the lowest modifiers just to finish the level 51. Then we would do the level 70, then the 90, and so on. Now, let's try something new, okay? Let's try something new, because there's 4 of us here. Technically it's 4 including me, but this is fine. I believe I can do this. And we're going to see. And what we're going to do is we are going to try and raid. And I'm not sure if I can raid this person because I don't know what they've got their thing set at. We might be too small a group. It may not be able to happen. But if we can, I am going to raid a channel. And the channel I'm going to raid, and I ask you to stick around with them just for a couple of minutes to give him some support because I love this guy. He is my favourite content creator for Last Epoch. So if you want to learn something about this game, his YouTube channel and his stream are the 2 best places. He knows what he's talking about, he's been playing it for years, but he's also very good at making it understandable in plain English. And he's a lovely guy. He's been doing a subathon, so he went full-time as a content creator at the start of February. And he's been doing a subathon whenever somebody donates bits, subs to the channel, does anything interactive with the channel, he adds time to his counter. He's currently on day 9. I don't think he was quite expecting the response, and I've been watching a lot of that stream, and the guy's amazing. So turn up, give him a follow, see what's going on. We'll see if we can get in his channel. He's a big creator now. He may not be able to do it. But he has been streaming now for something like 190 plus hours. What he's doing is, in the evening, he sleeps on stream. So he streams all day, he sleeps on stream, he gets up in the morning, he carries on. And as long as people keep subbing, and we've been having an amazing time in that channel, because every time he gets a tier 2 hype train, for some reason we were joking about it when we were in the chat, and he started playing polka music, and it stays on until the hype train disappears, and we just have these polka nights that go on for half an hour plus and add like 30 hours to the timer. So now he's got to stream for a whole nother day, and the guy's sleeping on stream every night. It's amazing. So we're going to try and raid this channel. He's live, he's got 402 viewers right now. We are going to start this raid. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Thank you, Trainar, for the follow. Really appreciate it. You guys make this. I enjoy gaming, I enjoy streaming, but I enjoy it when I've got people here to talk crap with while I die in the arena and do stupid stuff. And look at my Beastmaster build, it's generally okay, and next time we play it, it'll be better. So enjoy the raid, give Aaron some love, the guy's an absolute legend, and I will see you guys probably tomorrow. That's when I'm going to be back for the routine. But thank you for coming out tonight for a little extra one. I've enjoyed it, I really have. I will see you guys very soon. We are going to start our raid. 2 viewers, 5 viewers are ready to raid. Here we go. Never done this before, let's see what happens.
I didn't turn off notifications. Thank you for the raid! Oh, welcome, Raiders. Oh, I'm so bad. Goose, thank you. Take 2. No. That intro was good. I can chop that together. Perfect raid. You guys are not supposed to be a part of chat. You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here. Oh, that was some funny crap. You need to put that at the end of the video. Way to go, Raiders. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome, Raiders. Bloopers section. You think at the end of the video, you want me to just throw that right at the end?